Abby Norman, Ask Me About My Uterus, a quest to make doctors believe in women's pain. Embark on a powerful and emotional journey in Ask Me About My Uterus, a quest to make doctors believe in women's pain, by Abby Norman. This eye-opening book takes you through a first-hand account of the struggles, misdiagnoses, and battles against a medical system that often overlooks and undermines women's pain. The book extensively explores the enigmatic condition called endometriosis, and how it impacts the lives of numerous women worldwide. Dive deep into the realms of medicine, gender bias, and the tainted history of women's healthcare while exposing the devastating consequences of neglect, ignorance, and disbelief that countless women endure.
The Turning Point, Abby's Battle. At 19 years old, Abby Norman's life at New York's Sarah Lawrence College was abruptly interrupted by a sudden onslaught of unbearable pain. This marked the beginning of her life-altering journey toward understanding and managing her chronic illness. Hindered by financial constraints and inadequate health insurance, Abby's pursuit for answers and relief became an uphill battle that forever changed her destiny. Abby Norman's life took a dramatic turn when she was 19 years old. At the time, she studied at Sarah Lawrence College on a prestigious scholarship, where her days were filled with literature, dance classes, and camaraderie. However, one morning in 2010 would strip away the vibrant life she knew, replacing it with unexplained, excruciating pain. The day began like any other as Abby groggily prepared for her morning routine, stepping into the shower. As water cascaded over her body, an overwhelming sensation of pain suddenly overwhelmed her. It felt as though a knife had pierced through her, leaving her frantically searching for the source of her torment. As the agony pulsated from deep within, she realized the pain was everywhere but nowhere, rippling over her abdomen, pelvis, and down her spine. Barely standing, she stumbled back to her room, besieged by dizziness and nausea. What Abby didn't realize during her painful trek back to her dorm was that her life was about to take a new, daunting path, navigating life with chronic illness. Almost instantly, her unknown affliction wreaked havoc on her daily routine. Pain and restless sleep consumed her days, rendering her unable to find comfort in any position. Eating became an impossibility, and her strength waned significantly. Even attempting to work her part-time job resulted in a collapse. After a week of enduring this agony, Abby sought medical help, despite not having adequate health insurance. Her hesitation stemmed from the financial burden of medical expenses. Estranged from her parents, Abby was financially independent, and the prospect of incurring massive medical debt was daunting. However, as her pain intensified, it eclipsed her financial worries, prompting her to finally go to the hospital. In search of answers and relief, Abby embarked on a challenging journey that would test her resilience. The doctors she encountered, however, would prove unhelpful in determining the cause of her agony, as we'll discover in the next portion of her story. Abby's journey through misdiagnoses. Abby spent a year going through multiple doctor visits while searching for the cause of her severe pain. Time and again, she was met with patronizing behavior and misdiagnoses that caused her life to crumble. Despite eventually discovering she had a large ovarian cyst, her doctor prioritized her fertility over stopping her pain, leaving Abby bewildered and still suffering. Abby's ordeal began when she turned to medical professionals for help with her mysterious, debilitating pain. With each doctor's visit, she was met with condescension and dismissiveness, adding to her already immense suffering. The first doctor she saw defaulted to the assumption that Abby's pain was rooted in her sex life. When she denied it, the doctor resorted to recommending antibiotics and cranberry juice without any further examination. Determined to understand her condition, Abby sought a second opinion. This time, the doctor suspected an ovarian cyst based purely on her age, advised her to see a gynecologist, and offered no further explanation. As her life spiraled, her academics suffered too. Her scholarship, her ticket to a better future, was in jeopardy, and her college asked her to leave until she could recover. The gynecologist Abby saw next also failed to help her. After an excruciating vaginal ultrasound that revealed nothing, Abby's symptoms grew worse. In desperation, the doctor resorted to exploratory surgery on Abby's reproductive organs. When Abby woke up from the surgery, the doctor admitted to finding a massive ovarian cyst that twisted one of her fallopian tubes. Abby assumed the cyst and damaged organs were removed since they were causing her unbearable pain. But to Abby's horror, the doctor only drained the cyst and patched her up. She explained that removing the ovary could have impacted Abby's fertility. Left in disbelief, Abby wondered why her fertility took precedence over her suffering. As expected, after a few months, her pain returned full force, making it clear that her search for answers and relief was far from over. Unraveling the endometriosis enigma. Abby faced excruciating pain that turned out to be more than just an ovarian cyst. Through her research, she discovered endometriosis, a disease affecting 2 to 10% of women, yet strikingly under-researched in comparison to other diseases. Despite the primary theory about endometriosis cause being proposed by gynecologist John Sampson in the 1920s, it still remains unproven today. The lack of research not only leaves unanswered questions but also hints at the inaccuracies of Sampson's theory, calling for more attention and studies to understand this puzzling condition thoroughly. Abby's pain led her down a path of exploration that ultimately revealed endometriosis, an elusive and poorly understood condition. This affliction occurs when cells resembling the lining of the womb appear in various parts of the body, causing pain similar to childbirth in some women. Though it's been nearly a century since John Sampson's proposal about its cause, the theory remains unconfirmed due to inadequate investment and a male-dominated medical field. Unlike liver disease, which garners massive research attention with 30,000 pages dedicated to it on PubMed, a mere 1,800 pages cover endometriosis. This disparity highlights the need for more scientific inquiries that could uncover new facets of the disease. There are numerous unaddressed questions in Sampson's theory, and recent evidence even casts doubt on its validity altogether. Considering that endometriosis has been detected in remote areas of the body, such as the lungs, eyeballs, and brain, it raises questions about the plausibility of how menstrual backwash transports cells to these far-off locations. Is it possible that women's fallopian tubes work like powerful hoses propelling fluid across the body? Furthermore, a 2015 case report found endometriosis patches within fetuses, which do not menstruate. This finding suggests that the disease isn't solely related to menstruation, thus challenging Sampson's theory and emphasizing the need for further research. Medical gaslighting tragedies. Endometriosis is a severely debilitating disease, yet individuals like Abby and actress Gilda Radner have faced doctors dismissing their pain as psychosomatic or related to stress, anxiety, or past trauma. Tragically, Radner passed away at 42 due to stage 4 ovarian cancer after a delayed diagnosis. Such instances reflect the common dismissal of women's reproductive health issues, calling for greater awareness and understanding in medical practice. Throughout her journey to receive an accurate diagnosis for endometriosis, Abby encountered doctors who suggested the cause of her pain was psychosomatic, or originating in her mind. Disturbingly, there exists a historical pattern of women experiencing reproductive ailments being misdiagnosed with emotional or mental health issues. A heartbreaking case of medical gaslighting involves actress Gilda Radner, known for her role on Saturday Night Live. In the 1980s, Radner suffered from exhaustion and fever during her period but was told by a gynecologist that her discomfort was simply a normal part of menstruation. As her symptoms intensified, affecting her stomach, legs, and bowels, another doctor dismissed her growing concerns as the result of nerves and anxiety. Continuing to search for answers, Radner visited another doctor who prescribed her antidepressants. It took 10 arduous months before a blood test finally revealed the devastating truth: she had stage 4 ovarian cancer. By the time of her diagnosis, it was too late for effective treatment, and she tragically succumbed to the disease at just 42 years of age. In her memoir, It's Always Something, published shortly before her passing, Radner chronicled her fight to have her pain taken seriously by medical professionals. Decades later, Abby found a strong connection to Radner's experiences, as she faced similar dismissiveness from doctors. They suggested her pelvic pain stemmed from stress, lack of enjoyment, insufficient sexual activity, or even potential childhood sexual abuse. These harrowing stories underscore the urgency for the medical community to take women's reproductive health issues and concerns more seriously and to ensure accurate diagnoses are made without trivializing patients' pain. A painful awakening. Suffering from endometriosis, Abby Norman experiences unbearable pain during sexual intercourse. However, it took her boyfriend's expression of dissatisfaction for her gynecologist to take Abby's pain seriously, revealing the disparity in medical treatment given to men and women. Even after trying various treatments, Abby faces the heartache of her relationship crumbling due to her illness, caused by the disease that stole so much from her. Endometriosis led Abby Norman to experience unbearable pain during sexual intercourse, disrupting her life in multiple ways. Forced to leave Sarah Lawrence College due to her illness, Abby also saw her love life deeply affected. After her first sexual encounter with her boyfriend, Max, it became apparent that sex was not only painful for her but also unbearable. A burning sensation in her pelvis accompanied by blood on the sheets and nausea became the norm after each intimate moment. Although prepared for some discomfort, Abby quickly realized that the intensity of the pain was not normal. After a year of struggling, the couple sought help from Abby's gynecologist. Surprisingly, it was Max's presence and expression of his own sexual frustration that urged the doctor to take Abby's pain seriously. The doctor's newfound enthusiasm to help seemed rooted in the risk of disappointing Max, a man, rather than solely caring for Abby's well-being. After trying medications, physiotherapy, and even electrical nerve stimulation, Abby's pain persisted. Yet the revelation that it took Max's frustration to trigger the gynecologist's determination to find a solution was as disheartening as the pain itself. It demonstrated the disparity in medical attention given to men and women, with a man's satisfaction seemingly held more important than a woman's health. Ultimately, the strain caused by endometriosis claimed another victim, Abby and Max's relationship. Unable to cope with sexual frustration, Max left Abby, adding to the list of losses she endured at the hands of her illness. Overlooking women in healthcare. Societal and biological differences between men and women have fueled the ongoing debate about their distinction. Historically, the scientific community has heavily leaned on male-centric studies, leading to inadequate healthcare for women. Female representation in research studies is significantly lower, with reasons such as menstruation complexity and potential pregnancy cited as primary factors. This lack of representation has led to insufficient knowledge of how medications differ in effectiveness between men and women. Pain management also displays gender bias, with women often receiving reduced painkillers or sedatives instead, labeled as anxious rather than in pain. This omission of women from critical health studies perpetuates the gender disparity in healthcare and must be addressed for fair medical treatment. The discussion of men and women's biological differences has raged for years, with some undeniable distinctions like women having a higher fat to lean body mass ratio. Traditionally, scientists have focused on male subjects in studying the human body, resulting in a lack of attention towards women's healthcare needs. This negligence is evident in scientific research, where women are routinely underrepresented. A 2011 report from the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that among 1,382 exercise and sport studies involving 6 million people, women comprised only 39% of the subjects. This discrepancy arose from researchers deeming menstruation too complex a factor for inclusion. Moreover, women have been majorly excluded from pharmaceutical drug trials due to concerns about unknowingly being pregnant. A significant study in the 1990s highlighted aspirin's effectiveness in preventing stroke and cardiovascular disease but failed to include any women. This oversight is critical since men and women metabolize numerous drugs, including anesthetics and antidepressants, differently. Pain management also reflects gender bias in healthcare. A 2001 study published in the Journal of Law, Medicine and Ethics found that after heart bypass operations, men received painkillers while women were given sedatives. Even when women were administered painkillers, they received lesser amounts than men, regardless of body size differences. This imbalance stems from the antiquated belief that women are more likely to be anxious than experiencing genuine pain. The persistent dismissal of women in healthcare research and treatment results in inadequate care for half the population. Therefore, it is vital for scientists and medical professionals to address this gender disparity and ensure equitable access to healthcare for all. United against endometriosis. In certain parts of the world, menstruating women are isolated from their communities, sometimes in huts they're forced to stay in for days, representing the physical and metaphorical challenges they face as they battle endometriosis. Abby Norman aims to change this by creating an online community called Ask Me About My Uterus, where women, particularly from LGBTQ and ethnic minorities groups, share their experiences, struggles, and support. With over 10,000 readers and contributors, this community is helping to dismantle the stigma around women's health issues. Imagine a world where women experiencing menstruation are forced into isolation, locked away from their communities simply because they are considered too unclean to be seen. This nightmare is a reality for some women in places like India and serves as a painful metaphor for the struggles that millions of women face when dealing with endometriosis and other reproductive health issues. However, one woman, Abby Norman, is fighting to bring about change. During her own battle with endometriosis, Abby relied on the internet to learn more about her condition and connect with others who were fighting the same disease. To her astonishment, she discovered countless women across the world sharing their struggles, the dismissive attitudes of doctors, the fear of losing partners due to an inability to engage in sexual activities, constant nausea, and even unemployment because of their debilitating symptoms. These women came from all backgrounds, races, and ages, but many shared a common challenge: they hadn't yet received a proper diagnosis. Moved by the profound pain that so many were experiencing, Abby decided to take action by giving these women a platform to share their stories and create a supportive community. She started by conducting an online survey via Twitter, inviting anyone with endometriosis to share their experiences. She specifically sought responses from LGBTQ individuals and ethnic minorities, as the health experiences of these groups are often underreported. From this small initial effort, Abby built a thriving online community called Ask Me About My Uterus. The website delves into a range of reproductive health issues such as menopause, periods, and endometriosis. Its goal is to remove the shroud of secrecy and stigma surrounding women's health. Today, Ask Me About My Uterus comprises over 10,000 readers and contributors from all walks of life. Abby's work demonstrates that while a cure for endometriosis may be out of reach for now, the metaphorical, red tent that has long concealed women's health issues is gradually being torn apart. Through the power of shared experiences and a willingness to break down barriers, this online community is helping to reshape the narrative on women's reproductive health.
Throughout Ask Me About My Uterus, author Abby Norman presents an all-too-familiar and heartbreaking narrative of her quest for proper diagnosis and treatment for endometriosis, chronicling her experiences with dismissive doctors, inadequate medical care, and the impact of endometriosis on her personal and professional life. Abby underscores the urgent need for improved understanding of women's pain and reproductive health. The book shines a light on the plight of women who struggle to be heard and taken seriously in a predominantly male-dominated medical profession. In the end, Abby's determination to raise awareness about endometriosis leads to the creation of an online community, Ask Me About My Uterus, empowering women and amplifying their voices to break free from the metaphorically red tent of isolation and silence.